where was I? Yeah, I was telling you about my plan. So yeah, to cut the long story short, I'm going to share that document on Neo so you can know where we are every time that you don't come to classes, that you can't attend, or maybe just because you're curious and you want to know beforehand what we are going to study during the class. There was something I wanted to tell you anyways, and it was about this, all right? So if you're wondering about grammar, this is the grammar that we are going to be looking through in each unit. So this is a B1 plus course. So we are going to have some structures that are quite complicated and some of them are not so much. Like the first unit, it's not so complicated, but I guess that the second unit, it gets a little bit more complicated. So our progress depends also on how well we understand the structures, all right? So if there's ever a need to stop, I'm going to stop and we're going to review again, or we're going to complete more exercises. So this plan depends also on the progress that we can make as a class, as a group all together. Yeah, as I said, it's going to be available, so you can actually look it up on Neo. And yes, I'm sorry about it, Edmundo. I know, I'm totally aware that you are not on Neo. There are about 10 people who are not on Neo yet. I already sent an email to the tech support people, so I hope that they enroll you soon. They haven't replied to my message. I already talked to my boss about it, so I hope that maybe by tomorrow you are on Neo already. I'm sorry about it. It's not in my hands. All right, let's go on. And I'm gonna share the book. And of course, we are going to start by the first unit of the book. So we are going to talk about different topics here, but the title of the unit is How Was Your Trip? And we have some learning goals that we are going to be paying attention to because these are the things that we need to achieve in this unit. So in this unit, you are going to talk about a weather event. This is what we're going to do today. Then you're going to talk about wildlife. So you're going to learn a vocabulary to talk about animals. Not so common, so I like it. And also you are going to discuss endangered animals. All right, so this unit is all about the weather and the environment, also wildlife. Yeah, on the last two units, you have a text to read about wildlife, and you can write a description of a place you've been to. That's mainly the unit that we are going to start right now. And here we are. As I said, we are going to talk about the weather. I guess that we always start this course talking about the weather. It's quite common, but when we first started learning English, if you remember, you only learned words like rain, sunny, cloudy, etc. But now you have to use more advanced vocabulary and you have to use more complicated words if you wish. So we are going to have a look at those words that describe weather. And we are going to listen to the pronunciation first, so you can actually get the feeling of how you pronounce these words, and then we'll work on the meaning of the words. So let me play it. And here we go.
Valeria, we can hear the audio.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear the audio.
Can you hear it or can you not hear it?
We cannot hear the audio.
All right, thank you very much. You can't. Let me share my sound again. All right, no worries. Sorry about it. Let me share my sound again. Something went wrong. All right, let's go again. Sorry.
Listen.
It's pouring. It's drizzling. It's humid. It's freezing. It's hailing. It's overcast. Get soaked. Get sunburned. Get damaged. Get stuck.
All right.
Now listen.
Now, no, don't listen. You've already listened. All right. So we have pouring. Let's try not to use Spanish. Okay. Forget about Spanish. We don't speak Spanish anymore. Let's try to get the meaning of the word by thinking of synonyms or ways to describe. All right, so what we have here in the picture is a man, I guess, or a person running. This person is holding an umbrella and it's raining heavily. All right, so here we have it's pouring. So I guess pouring means heavy rain. All right, it's raining heavily. That's what we have first. On the other hand, we have drizzling. And what I see here are just a few drops on the water. So I guess that drizzling means not heavy rain. It's the opposite. So that would be soft rain, if you wish. Yeah, so we have...
rain.
Yeah, good. So we have two opposite words here. Pouring, heavy rain, and drizzling, the opposite. Yeah? Good. We say soft rain or it's raining lightly also, if you wish. Yeah, not so much rain. Then we have humid. I think that all of us are familiar with this word already, humid. And it refers to having a lot of moisture in the air. Let me write down that word. Maybe it's new for some of us. Moisture. Can anybody help me with the meaning of moisture? What does this word mean?
Humidity.
Humidity? Yeah, it could mean humidity. Yeah, so it's humid. It's when there's a lot. Sorry?
Blend something, a little bit of air, a little bit of water.
Yeah.
It's the water
Yeah.
in the air.
Very good. Yeah, there we are. So a little bit of water, a little bit of coldness. So yeah, it's when the air is moistured. And you can see how the glass becomes when it's humid. Very good. And then we have freezing. So freezing, it's very cold or extremely cold. Yeah, when it's very, very cold, we say it's freezing. So, for example, in Cochabamba, I would say that it's never freezing. That's my opinion. Some people may disagree with me, but I think here it's never freezing. It's never too cold. Then yeah.
It means same. It means the same if you say ice.
If you say icy.
Yes, because freezing, and you see ice in the drops of ice.
Yep. Yeah, you could describe the picture as
icy.
yeah. So you could describe the picture as icy, but you cannot describe the weather as icy. The weather is freezing. It refers that it's very, very cold. But yeah, the picture is icy. Yeah. Good. It's related to ice because yeah, whenever it's freezing, you get ice. Yeah, then we have hailing. Does anybody know what hailing means from what you can see in the picture? Hailing.
Granizo.
Granizo, yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Vale. Let's try not to use Spanish. All right, so yeah, we have it already, granizo. And what is granizo in English? It's hail, as you can see. It's small drops of ice falling from the sky, yeah? Very small balls of ice. It's not the same as snow, by the way. It's not the same. We have snow as a different phenomena. Then we have overcast, and I think this one is it's quite interesting because it helps you describe a type of weather when it's not raining, it's not hailing, it's not drizzling, but you still get gray skies, right? So when the sky is looking very gray, like stormy, you can say it's overcast. This is sorry?
Yeah.
It's similar to cloudy, yeah? But cloudy can be also positive.
Cloudy.
Yep, it's similar. Not exactly the same because cloudy could be positive, like cloudy doesn't exactly mean a gray sky, yeah? But overcast means that the sky is gray. That will be the difference, yeah? So let me write it down. I said gray sky. Gray skies mean overcast. Then we have get soaked. So it's stronger than getting wet. When you get wet, you have some drops of water on your clothes. But when you get soaked, you get extremely wet. Like everything in you is wet, soaked. Then we have get sunburned. It's related to the sun, right? So when you spend a long time out in the sun, your skin becomes red. So that's sunburned. Sometimes it can be dangerous, yeah? It's not the same as tan. It's actually quite different because when you get tan, it's a nice feeling. Like your skin changes a little bit, your skin tone, and it's a nice feeling. But when you get sunburn, it hurts and it can be dangerous, right? And then we have get damage. We may already understand what this means. So when something bad happens and it has a bad result. And finally, get stuck. You can get stuck in the snow, as we can see in the picture. You can get stuck in the traffic, in the rain. All right, so get stuck means that you cannot continue your journey, your commute. You are trapped in a place because of the snow in this case of the picture. Righty, so
Unable to move.
yeah, there you go. Unable to move. That's a very good definition. Thank you very much. So when you're unable to move, you are stuck. Yep, and that's what we have about bad weather. As I told you, we were going to learn how to describe the weather in a more advanced way, if you wish. Instead of just saying cloudy, you can go deeper and say it's overcast. Instead of saying it's raining, you can say it's pouring or it's drizzling. Instead of saying it's cold, you can say it's freezing, and so on and so forth. So now we're going to complete the first exercise. And let me move my page. Oops, I forgot to delete that. There we go. So we are going to complete this exercise. Let me mark it so all of us are on the same page. I'm going to play the audio. If you don't have the book, still complete the exercise with me looking at my screen, please. So you are going to circle the correct word. Let me just show you in case. Circle the correct word to complete the sentence, all right? So you're going to listen to people speaking, and you have to choose which word describes best what people are talking about, the kind of weather that's going on the audio, right? So please, oh please, don't mark my screen. Just listen to the audio and write it down on your own notebooks. Yeah, so let me make sure I'm sharing my sound this time, and let's go. Let's listen to that. We're going to listen twice, so don't get too overwhelmed. Oops. Then my control doesn't seem to be working. Give me a second, please. Yeah, let's go.
1.
You're soaked.
I know. It's raining really hard outside and I forgot my umbrella. 2. Is it raining hard?
Nah, just barely.
3.
Ooh, does that hurt?
Yes, it does. I spent too many hours in the sun yesterday. 4. It's horrible outside today.
Yeah, it is. I don't mind dry heat, but this is terrible. It feels like the shower room at the gym.
5.
Ugh, I hate these kinds of days.
I know. It's just gray all day, but it never rains. 6. What happened to your car?
It was hailing last night. I went out this morning and the window was broken.
Alrighty, we're going to listen to the audio once again. Pay attention.
1.
You're soaked.
I know. It's raining really hard outside and I forgot my umbrella. 2. Is it raining hard?
Nah, just barely.
3.
Ooh, does that hurt?
Yes, it does. I spent too many hours in the sun yesterday. 4. It's horrible outside today.
Yeah, it is. I don't mind dry heat, but this is terrible. It feels like the shower room at the gym.
5.
Ugh, I hate these kinds of days.
I know. It's just gray all day, but it never rains. 6. What happened to your car?
It was hailing last night. I went out this morning and the window was broken.
Alrighty, we got it. So,
Thankfully, we have the subtitles here, so we can review vocabulary also. So the first one says, you're soaked. I said that soaked means very, very wet. And it says, I know it's raining really hard outside. I forgot my umbrella. So what would it be? It's drizzling or is it pouring there?
Pouring.
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 Thank you very much. Yeah, it's definitely pouring, raining heavily. Drizzling, the opposite. Very good. Then we have number 2. Is it raining hard? Nah, just barely. So drizzling or overcast?
Drizzling.
Drizzling.
Yeah, definitely the opposite of pouring. What does barely mean? Can anybody help me with this one? Barely?
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing. There you go. Yes. So just barely means it's almost not raining. So it's not important. Very good. Thank you very much, Javier. All right. Then we have, oh, does that hurt? Yes, it does. I spent too many hours in the sun yesterday. So that's soak, isn't it?
No.
Sunburn.
Sunburned.
Yes, very good. That's sunburned. Yeah, you spend so many hours in the sun, so you get sunburned. Of course, it hurts because, yeah, as I told you, sunburning, it's quite dangerous. It's not a nice feeling. It's not a good thing. Let me just put it here. And then we have number 4. It's horrible outside today. And the other person says, yes, it is. I don't mind dry heat, but this is terrible. It feels like the shower room at the gym. So is that humid or freezing?
Humid.
Humid.
It's, yeah, definitely humid. I feel like that when I go to Santa Cruz. I think that's this describes the weather in Santa Cruz, at least for me. I don't know if you agree with me. And can anybody tell me what
agree.
you agree? Most of us agree. All right, can anybody tell me what the shower room at the gym is? I have never been to a gym myself, so I have no idea. Does anybody know? Who goes to the gym here? Nobody goes to the gym?
Nobody.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Like-
very surprised.
Like sauna.
Ah, there you go, like sauna. So what is a sauna? Can anybody tell me? I've never been to a gym, I swear. What is a sauna?
And most of the people get showers at the same time, so it became very humid, and because there's a lot of people getting showered. So
There.
that's
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Javier. So it's not, it's kind of a metaphor here, all right? So we are not saying that actually in the room there is a place that is very humid in purpose, all right? So just as Javier explained it very well, the shower room is where people shower, take a shower when they go to the gym. So as Javier said, when many people take a shower all together and all the time, it becomes very humid, very moisturized, if you wish. So that's what it refers to. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And then let's go to number 5. It says, oh, I hate these kind of days. I know it's just gray and all day, but it never rains. So is that hating or overcast?
Overcast.
Overcast.
There you go. What gives it away? The word gray. Definitely. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can spell the word gray with an E or with an A. I'm sorry, but I always write it down with an E. I'm just used to it. But yeah, whatever one is correct. Gray or gray, they mean the same. And finally, what happened to your car? It was hailing last night. I went out this morning and the window was broken. So he got stuck or his car got damaged. What happened here?
Damage.
Damage.
There you go. So his car got damaged. How do you know? Because the window was broken. So that's definitely damaged. Yeah, very good. I think that in Bolivia, we don't have such terrible weather as to be talking about disasters like this. It's not so common, I mean, so as in other countries, like when there is always freezing or it's always hailing. So I'm hoping that you don't have so many stories to share about terrible weather, because this is not only bad weather. I would say that this is terrible weather when you get soaked or when it's hailing and it's freezing. So not nice stories come out of this weather. I'm hoping. All right, and now we have to get to the grammar box. Let me delete this. And let me get some water. All right, so what do we have? We have to be using here some specific vocabulary. This is very common in English and it's very useful. So I hope that after this class, you start thinking about this structure a little bit more, and you try to include it in your sentences, because my students tend to ask me, Valeria, how do you say enojarse in English? How do you say empaparse? How do you say aburrirse? This is how you say that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that today. And yeah, I'm hoping that you can take this into account and start using it, because as I said, it's very useful. So our main verb is get, all right? What do we use get to in this case? We use it to express change, all right? Change in state, change in mood, etc. So we use get plus an adjective or get plus a passive with, to express a change of state, as I said, or sometimes a change in mood also. So we are going to learn the two structures today, get plus adjective and get plus passive. All right, so those two in different ways. Let me make the second one in different colors so you actually realize that they are different. Let's start by the easiest one among these two, and that would be get plus adjective. So as always, in every sentence in English, you need to start by the subject, and then you can add the verb get, then an adjective, and then a complement, extra information to add meaning to your sentence. Let's see the examples. People are getting sick from the heat. All right, so this one is a continuous form, are getting sick. Or it got hot after the rain stopped. This is the past simple tense. Got hot. So what does it got hot mean? It got hot means that temperatures increased after the rain stopped. Alrighty? And people are getting sick. It means that people are starting to become sick, if you wish, from the heat. Maybe it's too hot, so people are sick of it. They are starting to get sick. Alrighty, so what is the change of state? The change of state here is that it wasn't hot, but it got hot. People weren't sick, but they got sick. Yeah, that's the idea here. Just in this case, I want you to compare it to the Spanish expression because you may need it. So how can we translate this sentence? First one, people are getting sick from the heat. That's it. Can anybody help me with the Spanish translation?
Las personas están enfermando por el calor.
There you go. Thank you very much. So, se están enfermando. In English, we don't have the word se, okay? The reflexive se. So, how can we use this se in English? By using the verb get. So that's the idea. This replaces the idea of se in Spanish. Se están enfermando. Very good. And can anybody help me with the second one? It got hot after the rain stopped.
Se está poniendo caliente.
Yeah.
No, se calentó.
caliente.
Se calentó después de que pasó la.
Okay.
Puso caliente.
Se puso caliente. Who? What are we talking about?
Weather.
The weather.
Weather.
The sentence is it got hot.
It got hot. Yeah, so the weather. How do we say that in Spanish? Se puso caliente. Is that how we say? O se puso caluroso?
Caluroso sería tal vez.
There you go, yeah. Caluroso. It got hot. Se puso caluroso cuando la lluvia paró o se detuvo. Yeah, it got hot. Yeah, So again, se puso caluroso. We don't have that word in English. It's impossible for us to make it. So we go to the verb get and we get the meaning of se in English. That's the idea. Very good. Thank you very much for helping me out with these ones. I saw, Magali, did you have a question or a comment or anything?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I asked to you, when, because now you use get only, are getting, got, and in some sentence, for example, to get married, Julia and Gabriel to get married. Where's the difference in the use when you use get?
Alrighty.
If, after to.
Alrighty. To get married, is that what you mean, Magali?
Yes, that's an example, to get married. Where's the difference to use get married only?
Alrighty, yeah. The difference is just that to get married is an infinitive form. Yeah. Infinitive
Okay.
to get married. And if you don't use to, and you said, for example, they got married, is because you're not using the infinitive and you are conjugating the verb. And that would be it. Yeah. So without to, it's conjugated.
Okay.
Yep. Good. Remember that you can use the verb get in any verb tense. Alrighty. For example, I can say they get married very young. People in Bolivia get married very young. Or I can say some people are getting married right now. Some people got married last night in the past. Some people have gotten married this year. That's the present perfect. Some people had got married before we started the class. All right, so we can use get in any tense to express any action that happened at some point in the past, present, or even the future. They will get married next month. Yeah. So it's just a matter of conjugating the verb get. Remember that what comes after get, it's an adjective in this case, so it doesn't need to change. All right, so they got married, they get married. It's the same structure for the adjective. And yeah, that's the idea. So how do I say aburrirse in English?
Get bored.
Boring. Boring.
Boring.
Get bored.
Actually, it says
Get
get bored. Get bored.
Oh.
Yep. So I usually get bored when I go to the bank, for example. Yeah, me aburro cuando voy al banco. I get bored. Aburrirse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have enfermarse already. I forgot my examples at the beginning of the class. Get bored. Ponerse feliz.
Get
Get happy.
Yeah, so get happy.
Get-
Enojarse. How do I say
I will
enojarse?
Get angry.
Get angry.
Yes. Get angry. If you are very very angry, you of course use the word angry. If you're not so angry, but you are in the middle or in your way to getting angry, you can also say get upset. Yeah.
That's
Yes. There you go. So most of the things that in Spanish we say with the reflexive pronoun se, in English we say it with get. Don't forget, please, because this is very useful. All right, so just remember, get plus an adjective. Any adjective would do the work. And now let me clear this because I don't want this to get too messy. And we are going to go to
Sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry, Valeria. What
Yep.
is get upset?
Get upset, molestarse.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Very good. Yeah.
Val.
Oh, yeah. Tell me, Maria.
Could be get mad.
Get mad. Yeah. What does get mad mean?
Be
Get
I guess it get upset.
Yes, it's a synonym of get upset.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, you're not quite sure, but you're right. So yeah, it's a synonym of get upset. Yeah,
Okay.
good. So get upset. We have get mad and get upset in the middle, and then stronger, get angry. Yeah. So you have to also differentiate the levels of anger in you. Upset and anger are not the same. Alrighty, and let's go with passive here. Passive, it's a little bit more complicated. Not so much. Don't get scared already. So what happens? You can use, of course, this one with a subject as always. Then you need the verb get in any tense, and then you need a past participle. Right? So remember that we talked about past participle last class. You have in English 3 forms of the verb. You have the present, you have the past, and the participle. So verb 3 of the participle is the one that you are going to need here. Why? Because this is a form of the passive voice. So let's see the examples. The equipment has gotten damaged by the storm. Or we have the second example. I got soaked in the downpour. So what does this mean? What you need to make sure is that, of course, the participle form of the verbs. That's going to help you build this kind of sentences. Now let's check the difference in meaning between the previous one and this one. So can anybody help me with the translation of the equipment has gotten damaged by the storm? What does this mean in Spanish?
El equipo se ha dañado por la tormenta.
Yeah, there you go. Se ha dañado por la tormenta. Very good. Thank you very much. And what about the second one? I got soaked in the downpour. What does it mean?
Me he mojado en lluvia.
Yeah.
Me mojé en la lluvia. Oh,
Me
me
mojé.
mojé.
Yeah, very
de-
good.
aunque
Yeah. All of them make sense. All of them make sense. Now let's think that this is a passive example. Entonces, me mojé. Yo me mojé. Is it?
Me he mojado.
Me he mojado. Did I got myself wet? Or I got wet for another reason?
Because the downpour
Because of the downpour. Yeah.
it means la lluvia me ha mojado, or the downpour me ha mojado.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're getting closer to the meaning. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Me
So,
empapé.
me empapé. It could work. In Spanish, it's me empapé. Yeah. We have no doubt about it. But we have a difference between the active and the passive voice here. The passive voice. Active and passive.
Estoy mojado.
Estoy mojado. Could be, but well, this is in the past. So this happened already.
Quedé mojado.
Quedé mojado por la lluvia. Yeah. All of them work. All of them work. Me empapé, quedé mojado, etc. All of them work. But in English, there is a difference between the active and passive voice. So we cannot translate it in the passive voice in Spanish because we don't speak like that in Spanish. It's impossible for us to understand that idea in the passive voice. Yeah. Maybe if you translate the first one into the equipment ha resultado dañado, el equipo ha resultado dañado. Sounds very weird in Spanish. I never speak like that. But that's the idea of it. Okay? And if you force this...
But it's possible you...
Sorry?
But it's possible you make a translation with context. Example, la tormenta ha dañado.
Yeah, but the problem there is that if you say ha dañado, that's active voice. And I'm trying to explain here the passive voice.
Y si decimos dañó, está.
Yep.
Entonces tendríamos que añadir lo que decía Ludmila. Ha resultado dañada,
Yep.
que ya no sería la oración.
Ajá. There you go.
Yes, it's impossible to translate.
Yeah. It is impossible because it sounds weird in Spanish. We don't speak like that in Spanish. But in English, we speak like that. And I don't know why, but in English, they love the passive voice. That's why we are always learning and practicing the passive voice. They love it. They use it all the time. So yeah, that's the idea. Ha resultado dañado. Yeah? Sorry?
Quedó dañado por la tormenta.
Yeah. Ha quedado dañado, if you wish. Sorry, Ludmila?
Gotten ha dañado. With gotten se ha dañado. Maybe.
Yeah, could be. Also with se, it works. Se ha dañado. Yeah. Very good. Se ha dañado. El equipo se ha dañado. Yeah, it also works with se. So yeah, as you can see, the passive voice, it's uncommon for us. It sounds weird. That's why sometimes we get trouble using the passive voice in English, because most of us don't really understand how it works. So that's why we need to practice it a lot. So yeah, let's read the notes. Maybe the notes can help us clear out some ideas about the passive voice and all this stormy vocabulary that we are going through. So let's read the first one. When get is followed by an adjective, like here, like an adjective, it gives the idea of change or of becoming. For example, people are getting sick. People weren't sick before, but now they are beginning to be sick. They are becoming sick. Right? So the adjective tells you there has been a change, or someone is becoming another thing. That's the idea. What happens for the passive voice? So for the passive with get, the past participle describes the subject. All right, so we are giving more information about the subject. What happened to the subject? It got soaked. It got damaged, right? So that's the idea. And the passive with get is more common in conversation than in writing, right? So it tends to be a little informal. That's why we need it, because we need English to speak. So that's why it's very useful for us. But it's not very much used in academic writing, if you wish. So if you're writing your thesis, maybe this is not going to be included. But if you're planning on speaking, this is definitely something that you need to include into your structures. So yeah, that would be the main difference. Remember, when you use get plus an adjective, you talk about change or becoming something different. Whether when you talk about get plus the past participle, you are describing the subject. You are giving more information about the subject. Yep. What do we need to do with this information? Practice it as much as you can. Even if you cannot translate it into Spanish, even if the structure seems a little complex, a little obscure, still, whenever you practice the vocabulary, it becomes more part of your understanding of the language. Since we are in B1 level, you need to increase your understanding of the language itself. Forget about Spanish, forget about comparing the languages, because that's not always going to help you. So now you need to understand how the language itself works. And English works very much with the passive voice. So many things can be said with the passive voice, and it makes sense, and it's better. All right, so that's why we are learning this structure. Of course, if you cannot be bothered, you think this is too much, you can leave it out and you can still speak English. Yeah, there's no problem. But as I always tell my students, this upgrades your use of the language and your understanding of the language also. That's the idea. Magali, tell us.
Maria, it's possible you make a sentence with the list
Yeah, this
in
one.
adjectives and participles in the book?
Yep. Very good. I like the idea. So that was going to be my next step. So we have commonly used adjectives and participles with get. All right, so if you go with the adjectives, it's quite easy. So it gets cold at night, it gets dark at night, my house gets dirty when I don't clean it, it gets hot in the summer, I get very nervous when I have to speak English, I get thirsty when I ride my bike, or I get wet when it's raining. Yeah, so with adjectives, it's quite easy. Active voice, and you know that you have to use the adjective after get. What happens with participles? So we have the participle caught, which comes from catch, confused, excited, hurt, lost, scared, and worried. So let's try to make sentences. I'm going to need your help here because that's also going to help me check your understanding. So with get caught is quite easy, it's common. So for example, the robber has gotten caught. The robber has gotten caught. Let me write it down on the chat. Has gotten caught. What does my sentence mean? The robber has gotten caught.
Atrapado.
¿O fue atrapado?
Yeah. Fue atrapado o ha sido atrapado. That's
Ha sido
much better. Ha sido atrapado. Yeah, gotten caught. So caught means atrapado. As you can see, so the participles usually are the words that in Spanish are end in ado, edo. Yeah, so atrapado in this case. All right, we have another one there. The ball has gotten caught by the child. I like it very much. So you can see that this is a passive voice because it also has by. Yeah, a common passive voice example. Alrighty, can anyone help me with an example with confused? Confused.
I got confused with the passive voice.
Yes. Very good one. Yes, me too. All right, I got confused with the passive voice, or also by the passive voice, whatever works. I got confused. Very good. Excited. Any ideas with excited? Get excited. Any idea? No ideas, we get excited. Let's imagine. People always get excited when they go to the stadium, probably, right? People always get excited when they go to the stadium. I got excited about the party. Very good. I got excited about the party. Let's go with hurt. Hurt. Can anybody help me with an example with hurt? No ideas? You run out of ideas?
An accident.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear it.
I got hurt with an accident.
Oh, yeah, very good. I got hurt. You cannot say with an accident because they cannot pick up an accident and hurt you. I got hurt in an accident. In a car accident, for example. Yeah, I got hurt after playing soccer. Yeah, it makes sense. I got hurt while playing soccer. He got hurt with a knife. The kids have gotten hurt in the accident. She got hurt in the car. I got hurt last weekend in the mountain. Very good, yeah. Very good. So get hurt. Lost. Get lost. This is a common expression when you don't want to see someone and they come to you, you say, get lost. It's very rude, don't say it, but it's an expression, get lost. Now, can we use it in a sentence, please? Get lost. I got lost at the country. I got lost in the country. I got lost in the country. I got lost in the forest last month. That makes sense. Very good. Thank you, Raj. We get lost the bus. That doesn't make sense. We get lost the bus. So we get lost in the bus, maybe. But we get lost the bus doesn't make sense. I got lost my keys. Nope. Doesn't make sense. I got lost in the parking because it was very big. In the parking, oh yeah, that always happens to me. I got lost in the exam. Yeah, it works. Hope it doesn't happen to you. I got lost in the big city. The kids has gotten lost on the park. That's better. In the park, they got lost at the tour. Very good. I got lost in Valeria's explanation. Maybe. I hope you didn't. My keys got lost. So you cannot say I got lost my keys, but my keys got lost. So I'm giving extra information about the subject. What is the subject? My keys. What happened to my keys? They got lost. I got lost in the forest. There you go. Very good. There's a common expression in English to get lost in translation. Get lost in translation, which means that sometimes you don't understand something very well. When they're trying to explain it to you, it gets even worse. So you get lost in translation. Common expression. Alrighty, enough with get lost. Now let's get scared. Can anybody help me with an example with get scared? I got scared with the movie.
She got scared with the movie.
Yes, the example. She got scared with the movie. Makes sense. She got scared for the exam, by the exam, or because of the exam. We got scared by this horror movie. Makes sense. I got scared with the movie. By the movie. They got scared within the bill. Yeah, all right. Within the bill. I got scared when he told me his dream, for example. I don't know. I got scared when I heard the story. Maybe you told me a horror story, so I got scared when you told me the story. I get scared whenever I read Dracula, for example. The movie got scared me. No, I got scared by the movie. The other way around. I got scared by the movie. The movie cannot get scared. Remember that the movie is it's a thing. It's not a person. I got scared with the electric installation in Cochabamba. Yeah, I understand. I'm getting scared with the strange sounds. With the strange sounds, yeah, very good. Sergio is very good at telling stories, so I can see that you're trying to tell us a story here. All right, enough with get scared, and let's get worried. Let's get worried. So can anybody tell me an example with worried? Get worried? My students got worried by midterm exams. Yeah, it usually happens. My students got worried by the passive voice. My grandpa has gotten worried about the cost of the wedding. Happens. I got worried when the exam is near. Yeah, me too. I got worried in the hospital. I got worried during the pandemic. I got worried with the results. Yeah, there you go. I got worried. So yeah, it usually is simpler than it seems by the book. All right. What I recommend you is that you forget that you can use the passive or the active voice, because if you overthink that, you are going to get confused. And I don't want you to get confused. I want you to be ready to use this vocabulary, which is useful and it's quite easy. All right, so don't get overwhelmed. And you should actually start including it. Use it the way we used it in class. As you see, it's not so difficult to come out with some examples. What you need to be aware of is that you need to have a clear sense of the structure of sentences in English. All right, so it's not the same when I say I got scared by the movie than the example that we saw the other way around. The movie got scared me. That's impossible. That doesn't make sense. It means nothing. All right, so please, oh please, be sure that you know who is responsible for the action, all right, or who changed by the action. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. We have a question in the chat. What is the difference between wet and soak? Wet, well, soak is stronger than wet. So when you get soak, you get very, very wet. That's the idea. All right, Mari, do you have a question or comment?
Question because about got and get. Could we say I get soak, or it always got? It has to be got.
All right, yeah. So it depends on what you are talking about. For example, it's perfectly correct to say I get soaked every time it rains, right? So this is in the present simple, so it makes sense. Present simple. So this means that whenever it rains, I get soaked. Yeah, it's kind of a habitual action, if you wish. But in the past simple, let me make it because they have the same initials. This is the present simple. Present simple. And in the past simple, of course, I have to use the verb in the past. I got soaked yesterday when it rained. Alrighty, so it depends what you are referring to. If it's a habitual action, then it has to be in the present. If it's something that happened in the past and finished in the past, then you have to use the past simple. Let me go further. Present.
Okay.
Yep. Present perfect. I have gotten soaked so many times during summer. All right, so I have gotten soaked many times during summer or this summer, meaning that this information started in the past when the summer started, but it's still going on in the present. Like I still have options of getting soaked when it rains. Alrighty, so it always depends on what you mean, whether you're talking about the present, the past, habitual action, a past action, an action that started in the past and still goes on in the present. It always depends, yeah? But as I said at the beginning, you can use this structure with any verb tense, even with future tenses. Let's go with the future simple. I will get soaked if it rains tomorrow. Yeah, there you go. So that's my prediction for the future. I hope it doesn't rain because I don't want to get soaked. But yeah, you can use it in any tense. Thank you for that question, Mari. Interesting. Do we have any other question or comment?
Thank you, Val.
Oops, I stopped sharing.
Valeria, how do you say me estoy mojando? I'm getting soaked.
There you go. Yes, I'm getting soaked. Yes. So you can say I'm getting soaked if you are in the process of that action happening. That's present continuous, by the way. I'm getting soaked. So if you say this, we understand that in this very moment, you are out in the rain and you're getting soaked. That's the idea. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? Again. Alrighty. So
But it always goes with participle. That's correct, no?
it usually goes with participles.
Conjugation.
Yep. Can you repeat the last part, Mari? I didn't get it.
All the combinations or conjugations are going with the participle.
Right.
It has to go with the participle.
Yep. Yeah, it usually works like that. And sometimes the participle and the adjective are the same. So, for example, in the case of excited, excited is also an adjective. So whether you say I got excited or the equipment, the cat was has gotten excited, it's actually very similar. And most of us won't really notice if you're using a participle or an adjective. We'll get the meaning. All right, so yeah, it usually goes with the participle and it can sometimes go with an adjective. It depends on which type of word you're using. But sometimes the adjective and the participle are the same. Yeah, is this confusing or is this clear?
It is. We want to know that in the cases of when the adjective is the different than the participle, like the examples that you gave us, we use adjective.
Yeah. So for example here, soaked is an adjective. So here, yeah, I was using an adjective, but this would be more or less the same if I used a participle. So I got confused every time it rains. I get confused every time it rains. It doesn't make much sense, but you know the structure that I'm trying to share here. So yeah, that's why I said don't get too overwhelmed by the participle or the adjective, because we usually don't even notice whether it is a participle or whether it is an adjective. The only thing that you need to know very clearly is that sometimes the adjectives are not the same as the participle. So as long as you know the vocabulary, you're set. You're done. You have what it takes. Yep. Any other comment or question here? Alrighty, so let's go practice. We're going to page 125, and we have some grammar exercises here. These grammar exercises tend to be my favorite. And what we have here, for example, is a conversation. What you need to do is to complete the text message, conversation about a day at the beach. Use phrases in the box. All right, so we already have getting hot. So as you can see, this is in the present continuous tense. Hi, Oscar, it was getting hot in my apartment. Oh, it's not present continuous, it's past continuous, sorry, I just noticed. It was getting hot in my apartment, so here I am at the beach, right? So she's at the beach. Let's go and complete number 2 and 3. So whenever you're ready to give me the answer, just please speak up. Does anybody know the answer here? Take your time.
Lucky you, I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
So I have been in the water.
All right, so much work to do.
Yes.
So much.
Get done.
Yeah, there you go. So much work to get done.
To get done.
There you go. Very good. To get done. So what does get done mean?
¿Qué hacer?
¿Se hizo?
Mhm. ¿Qué hacer? Actually, in Spanish, we just say qué hacer directly. I have so much work to get done.
Get
So I
done.
have, sorry?
But when you use to with plus get, precisely, that's the
Ah.
example.
Yeah, work to get done. Yep. As I told you, this is a, let me mark it where it's my tool here. This is an infinitive, alrighty? So I use it after a phrase that requires an infinitive. I cannot conjugate this one because this hasn't been done. It's not in the past, it's not in the present. I have to get done. I have to get it done, alrighty? So in this specific situation, you can explain it by saying that I have to. Yeah, that's the idea. So I have to always requires a base form. I have to get it done. All right, so what happens that here you are replacing the it and you are putting it in the middle, some work, let's say. Some work to have done, to get done. So this is similar to have to, if that helps. It depends on the expression that you're using, really. And as I said, this is related to have to. I have to get something done. Is that clearer or it's still confusing? Alrighty, so I'm hoping that it is clearer, but it's deep grammar, this one, so it may be confusing yet. Alrighty, so what do we have here? Don't get excited, don't get nervous.
Don't get nervous.
Don't get
Nervous.
Yeah, very good. Don't get nervous. Oops, what did I do? Nervous. There you go. Don't get nervous. but I think there are sharks at the beach. All right, so we have the answer. Can anybody help me with the answer? This one?
Soaked.
Oh,
Yeah. So no, there aren't. The water was wonderful, but I forgot to take off my smartwatch. So it got soaked. That's a terrible thing. Yeah. So it got soaked. Then we have the answer. Those are expensive. I hope you didn't.
get
Get
damaged.
damaged.
Damage.
Yes, it didn't get damaged. Quite complex. Yeah. And finally, no, I think it's okay. I brought my a mystery novel with me, and I'm
Getting
Getting
excited.
excited.
getting
Excited. I was reading another.
There you go. Thank you very much. So this is a perfect example of what I was telling you earlier. You can use any tense to use these ideas. In the first one, we have the past continuous, was getting. Then we have the present or the infinitive, get done. The present, don't get nervous. The past, it got soaked. The past, it didn't get damaged. And the present continuous, I'm getting excited. So yeah, there you go. Any tense works with this. And at this level, this is very important because at this level, you should be ready to mix tenses. So you can start a conversation by using the present simple, then change to the past simple, then move to the present continuous, then go back to the past simple and move to the past continuous, etc. All right, so a conversation in real life always happens in many tenses. All right, it's not only one tense. Usually when we are speaking in English class, we tend to use only the present or only the past. Life is not like that. I'm sorry to inform you, but you should be able to move through tenses in order to have a conversation like this one. That's the idea. And now let's complete the next exercise. We need to use this time. Let me just clear. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead, please. Alrighty. So we're not going to complete this one because it's quite easy as the previous one, but we are going to build sentences. All right. So this is very specific because you have to imagine a specific situation. Let me help you here. So you have to imagine that you run in a race, alrighty? So you have to write about your experience. This is your experience, it's very personal. And you have to use form of get plus the adjective or the past participle in parentheses, whatever you want. So we are running a race, and the first thing that happens is that I got nervous when I learned it might rain. I got nervous when I learned it might rain. So that's the first thing that happened in the race. What happened then? Can anybody tell me their sentence when you write it? Yeah. I got thirsty when I lost the race. It makes sense. Do we have any other idea? Of course, you have to start by
finishing the race.
Sorry, can you repeat, please, Edmundo?
I got thirsty finishing the race.
Yeah, finishing the race. Finishing the race. Yeah, I got thirsty finishing the race. Very good. Scared. What can scare you in a race? No? Any ideas with the scare in a race?
I got scared when the car crashed.
Yeah, car crashed. All right, this is quite dramatic. I like it. I got scared when the car crashed. Yeah. Or in a big race, what can happen? I got scared when I saw the fences, for example. Too many fences. If it's a race with obstacles. Many fences, it could work. Hurt.
I got this.
Oh, sorry?
I was telling sentences with scared.
Yeah, tell it.
I got scared when my to hurt me.
Can you repeat it? I lost a bit of it. I got scared when?
When my legs start to hurt me.
Oh, alrighty. Yeah, hurting. This one is interesting. Thank you very much. I got scared when my legs, we have to use the past form, started. We don't say hurting when you are running, your legs get sore. Get sore. In the past, of course, got sore again. So sore is the kind of pain you feel when you do exercise. Yeah, very good. Started to get sore. Let's put it like this. All right, very good. So I got hurt. Can anybody help me with this one? I want it like this. I got hurt by?
Another racer, another
Yeah, there you go.
participant.
Yeah, by another runner, we'll say. There you go. Thank you very much. I got hurt by another runner. Sadly, you are hurt. All right. I got lost. I got lost in
the path.
Yeah, there you go. In the path. Oh, if we might want to make it more complicated, in the numerous paths. Like maybe there were too many paths, so I got lost in the various paths. Alrighty, and I got excited.
I'm got excited when I won.
When I won. Happy ending. I like it. When I won. Remember, this is pronounced like the number 1 when I won. Right? It's not won. Alrighty. So right before we finish, I need to remind you that whenever you're writing these kind of sentences, you need to start by the subject, all right? Whether you're using an adjective or a participle, doesn't matter. You need to always start by the subject. I got thirsty. The racer got thirsty. The population got scared, if you wish. Somebody got lost. Alrighty, so you need an agent. You need someone who does the action. Then, of course, you are going to use get, got, has got, any tense that you need, was getting, is getting, but any form of the verb get. And then something else that can be the adjective or it can be the participle. Whatever you use is going to be perfect. As soon as you have the subject, get, and the participle or the adjective. Then any extra information is welcomed. It helps us understand the context, the situation in general, but that's extra information. What is the core of the sentence is this part. Let me get it. Oops, this part. All right, so this one can't go wrong. Whether you're talking in the present, past, or future, it has to be in that order. Don't mix it. All right. I got excited when I got to the final line. Is it correct? It is correct. Yeah. Yeah. the final line or the final bit of the race, it makes sense. Alrighty, so don't get too worried about this. It's not complicated. As I said, subject, get, and participle or adjective, and there you go, you're all set. It replaces the word se in Spanish, so that's it. That's all you need to know, and now we have to get to use it. Next class, we are going to start by an exercise with get plus adjective or participle. You are going to compose a short story, and then you are going to get together with someone and tell it orally, right? Because we need to use the vocabulary. The main purpose of this course is that you can actually use the vocabulary that you learn. Otherwise, you won't be using this course correctly. All right, so be ready to write some ideas with get plus adjective or participle next class, and be ready to speak. This class we didn't get to the speaking practice, but next class you won't miss it. Alrighty, so
Okay.
that has been practically the first unit. We're going to complete a few more exercises and then move on to the next lesson. If you have extra questions, stay with me as always. If you don't, then you may leave. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll be seeing you next class.
Thank you.
Thank